Shannon Sharpe has responded to accusations of sexual assault.
You ever watch someone win for years, dominate the field, reinvent themselves, stack success on success, and then just like that, find their name tangled up in something that makes you go, wait, what? That's what's happening right now with Shannon Sharpe. He's not just a Hall of Fame NFL type end anymore. He's a media empire. From Undisputed to Club Shay Shay, he's become a voice people trust, respect, and click on every single day. But now, all that momentum is being overshadowed by a civil lawsuit, and not just any lawsuit. This one, it's got a $50 million price tag. A woman who says she was involved with Shannon is accusing him of assault, and it's tied to the time they were in a non-marital relationship.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me, so I feel like...
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing yet. You want to be a to me now, so...
I don't want to be... Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
Again, we're not here to play judge and jury, but the fact that it's even possible for a private moment to spiral into this kind of public disaster, that's what we're unpacking today. And this isn't just about Shannon. This is about every man chasing greatness, building something, or stepping into his purpose. Because in a world that praises success but rarely teaches how to protect it, we've got to talk about what really keeps you covered and what leaves you wide open. Stay with me, because I promise by the end of this video, you'll walk away with a clearer vision of what's at stake and the one overlooked principle that could have saved Shannon and can absolutely save you too. Because this video is for you who's working hard to build something. Maybe you're building a business, a reputation, a legacy. And I just want to remind you, God's way isn't outdated, it's protective. There's wisdom in those boundaries. And what happened to Shannon? It's not just headline drama. It's a cautionary tale, a real one. So you don't have to be in a position to defend yourself like Shannon Sharpe.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Buzbee, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Buzbee targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Buzbee want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down.
Now, to be fair, this isn't about kicking a man while he's down. I respect what Shannon has built. He came from nothing, made it to the Hall of Fame, carved out a second career in media, and turned Club Shay Shay into one of the most popular platforms on YouTube. But that's what makes this even more painful to watch, because all it takes is one situation like this, a private decision that catches up publicly, to undo decades of hard work. And that's something every man needs to take seriously. Now, I'm not here to argue guilt or innocence. Let the courts do that. But we can absolutely talk about what opens a door to these kinds of situations in the first place. And here's the truth. When you operate outside the safety commitment, especially when there's sex involved, you're putting yourself in an extremely vulnerable position, legally, emotionally, spiritually. This isn't even about being a Christian. It's just wisdom. But for those of us who do follow God, we've got clear guidance on this stuff. Not because God's trying to restrict us, but because he sees the traps before we do. Think about it. How many men with influence have we seen taken out by relationships that were never built on solid ground? It's not a coincidence. This world doesn't play fair. And when you're successful, you're a target. That's not paranoia. That's pattern. And what protects you isn't just your lawyer, it's your lifestyle. Shannon's story hits different because he's a dude who's been vocal about discipline. He talks often about his grind, his sacrifices, how he stayed away from drinking and distractions during his NFL career. But relationships, that's an area where it seems like the playbook got ignored. And listen, I'm not judging. We've all messed up. But this is a reminder that discipline can't stop at work ethic. It has to show up in our personal choices. 2, let's just say it straight. If Shannon had stayed away from premarital sex, this lawsuit wouldn't exist. That might sound harsh, but it's true. He wouldn't have created space for these kinds of accusations, misunderstandings, or open doors. This doesn't mean the woman is right or wrong. It means the entire situation could have been avoided if the relationship had been structured the way God intended. You could be worth millions, be on every screen in America, and still get taken down by one bad choice. That's not fear talk. That's life talk. That's, yo, bro, I want to see you win talk. Because here's what's really at stake. Your calling, your legacy, that thing God put in you to build, to lead, to create, it's real. But if we don't handle our private life with the same care we give our career or our goals, we're setting ourselves up for disaster. The world doesn't need more talented men. It needs more anchored ones. And look, I get it. Culture makes it seem like casual sex is normal, like it's no big deal. But what the world won't tell you is what happens when things go sideways, when regret hits, when lawsuits start, when reputations get shredded, when mental health tanks. That stuff never makes it to Instagram, but it's real. That's why I wanted to bring it back to God's design. Not to be preachy, but to be real. Because when God says, wait until marriage, he's not trying to rob you. He's trying to protect you from confusion, from soul ties, from getting entangled in situations that drag your name through the mud. God's boundaries aren't about control. They're about calling, about setting you up for success in every area of life. I'm saying this as someone who's made mistakes, who's had to learn the hard way, and who now sees the difference it makes to just trust what God already said. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Every time I chose his way, I had peace. Every time I didn't, I paid for it. So what's the takeaway here? Simple. Protect your future by honoring God's order now. Don't wait until a lawsuit, a scandal, or a heartbreak forces you to make a change. Make it now, while your name is still clean, while your mind is still clear, and while your future is still wide open. And if you're already in a situation that's messy or complicated, it's not too late to turn around. God's grace is big enough to meet you where you are. But we've got to choose wisdom moving forward, because this world doesn't hand out second chances easily. But God does, and he gives them so you can walk differently the next time around. Here's what I'll leave you with. Real strength isn't just about what you do in public. It's about what you walk away from in private. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be intentional. If this story did anything, let it remind you to pause, reflect, and realign before you move forward. And let's be honest, none of us are above this. The second we think we are, we're already slipping. But if we stay accountable, stay grounded, and stay focused on the bigger picture, we won't just avoid scandal, we'll walk in purpose. And that's the real win. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 still says what it's always said. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. That includes your relationship, your decision, your boundary, your legacy. So if this at home, do me a favor, don't just watch and scroll. Think about what you're building. Think about what it's worth to protect. And then start moving like your future depends on it. Because it does. If you're trying to live different, walk wiser, and avoid these kinds of traps, go check out my other video on how to protect your purpose by guarding your private life. It breaks down the practical steps to keeping your reputation and calling intact in a culture that's constantly trying to take you off course. If this brought you value, like the video, hit subscribe, and drop a comment. What's your thoughts on all of this? Let's keep this conversation real, because the more we talk about it, the more we help each other rise. Until next time, walk in wisdom, stay grounded in truth, and remember, it's not about perfection, it's about direction. Let the word be your compass, and you'll never walk into a trap that wasn't meant for you. Let's stay locked in.